All right, so we're diving into something, well, something pretty wild today. It's a fascinating theory about baseball, of all things. It's called the baseball Ouroboros.
I mean, listen to this quote, the fundamental architecture of reality. Whoa, that's a massive claim, right? We're talking about baseball here. You know, hot dogs, peanuts, the whole thing. How does that connect to the universe? It just leads you to one very simple question.
Seriously, how can a game of catch possibly do that? How can a bat and a ball somehow mirror the cosmos? It sounds completely nuts, I know. But the theory says the answer, well, it's hidden in one of the oldest symbols in human history.
The answer is by being a serpent eating its own tail. You know, the Ouroboros? It's that ancient symbol of a closed loop, a system that literally feeds on itself to keep going. And the idea here is that once you see this serpent coiled up on the baseball diamond, you'll never look at the game the same way again.
All right, Section 1, the serpent on the diamond. To really get this, we've got to start by mapping the infinite game. First, we need to look at the game's blueprint, the field itself, and more importantly, the way baseball thinks about the one thing every other sport is obsessed with, time.
Okay, so this is the absolute key difference. Think about football or basketball, right? They're all fighting against the clock. Time is this resource that's constantly ticking down, draining away. It's a straight line to zero. But baseball? Nope. It runs on what this theory calls event time. A game doesn't end until one thing happens, 27 outs. And if a team just can't get those outs, well, theoretically, the game could go on forever. It's not a line, it's a loop. And the field itself is this perfect picture of that tension. You have this infinite game inside a finite box. The foul lines, they just shoot out forever, right? Like technically, the entire universe is in fair territory. But all of that infinite possibility is crammed into this mercilessly precise 90-foot box, the diamond. It's a paradox baked right into the... You can even see this loop on the tiniest scale, just one single at-bat. Let's walk through it. Step 1, the cause. A pitcher throws a fastball. Step 2, the effect. The batter just nicks it, a foul ball. Now, in most sports, that would be it, a failed play. But here, that effect becomes the new cause. The count goes from 0-0 to 0-1, and that new state of the game dictates the very next action. It's this perfect little recursive loop, a perpetual motion machine of cause and effect. Okay, so if the game is a machine, what about its living parts? Let's talk about the archetypes of the diamond. Because in this way of thinking, the players aren't just athletes. They're like these fundamental components, each playing a very specific archetypal role in this whole self-feeding system. And really, the whole engine of the game is driven by the tension between three key roles. You've got the pitcher, whose job is to initiate all the action. You've got the batter, whose only purpose is to create chaos and disrupt the pitcher's plan. And then you have the umpire, the one who enforces the system's absolute truth. Action, chaos, and truth. So let's give them their proper names from the theory. The pitcher is the monad, the single point where all action begins. The batter embodies creative friction. Their job is literally to mess things up. And the umpire? Well, the umpire is fascinating. They're the flawed regulator. Think about it. Before the ump makes a call, that pitch is kind of in a quantum state, right? It could be a ball, it could be a strike. It's both. The umpire's call is what collapses all that probability into one single irreversible truth. And we have to talk about the paradox of failure, especially with the batter. A great Hall of Fame level hitter is someone who gets a hit just 30% of the time. That means they fail 70% of the time. Can you imagine any other job where you're a superstar for failing that often? Their entire existence is defined by this constant state of failure, which is exactly why those rare moments of success, that chaos they inject, are so incredibly powerful. So now let's zoom out, way out, because this isn't just about a single at-bat or a single game. The theory argues that the entire history of baseball is one giant loop, a game that eats itself. It's not this straight line of progress. It's this series of huge spiraling cycles where the game literally has to consume its own past to survive and stay in balance. And you can see this pattern play out over and over again. The game gets stuck in a state of stasis, like the old dead ball era in the 1900s where nobody could score. Then it hits a full-blown crisis, like in 1968, the year of the pitcher, when offense almost vanished completely. More recently, it fell into what's called an optimization trap with the rise of sabermetrics. And then finally, it has this moment of correction, which this theory calls the radiant chomp. So, what was that efficiency trap? Well, the analytics era, sabermetrics, it got so good at figuring out the most efficient way to win that it almost optimized all the action right out of the game. It became all about the three true outcomes: a home run, a walk, or a strikeout. Why? Because statistically, that was the best way to win. The problem was, it made the game kind of boring. Less action, less running, less chaos.
And that's when it happened. The radiant chomp. The serpent bit its own tail. The system itself, Major League Baseball, realized that its own progress, all those analytics, was actually killing the game. So it did something radical. It consumed that progress. It changed the rules, banning the defensive shift, adding a pitch clock, all to force action and chaos back into the game. The serpent literally saved itself from becoming too perfect, too optimized.
Okay, I want to throw a number at you. Just one number, 24. What could that possibly mean in this whole grand cosmic theory of baseball? Well, it represents the system achieving a moment of pure, absolute, undeniable perfection.
That's how many perfect games have ever been thrown in the entire history of Major League Baseball. 24. Out of hundreds of thousands of games, a perfect game is the ultimate closed loop. 27 batters step up to the plate, and 27 batters are sent right back down. No hits, no walks, no errors, absolutely zero chaos. It's the Ouroboros, in a state of perfect, singular truth, a rare, fleeting glimpse of the machine working without a single flaw.
And maybe that's the whole point, right? Perfection is possible, but it's unbelievably rare. The real magic, the beauty of the game, isn't in those perfect moments. It's in the messy, constant, looping, self-correcting chaos of it all. As the theory puts it, baseball is a machine for generating infinity. It's a powerful reminder that even inside a closed system with strict rules, the possibilities, they're truly endless.
So, if a simple game played on grass can be this beautiful, complex serpent eating its own tail, it kind of makes you wonder, right? What other parts of our own lives are built the same way? Our careers, our relationships, maybe even our societies. What other beautiful, complex serpents are all around us, constantly looping back to consume their own past in order to create the future?